All right, so are you ready to dive into some really cool careers? Because today we're going to be talking about industrial arts vocational teaching.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, you sent in some awesome questions about this one, so let's get right into it, figure out if this is the right job for you.
You know what I think is really interesting about this one is even if you don't end up on this exact career path, just getting what this job takes, understanding those skills and what's needed, like having a cheat code to figure out the whole job market these days.
Okay, a cheat code, huh? I like the sound of that. Tell me more.
Just think about like automation, right? It's like everywhere now, changing everything. And if you can see how they're teaching these really important skills like carpentry, metalworking, how those teachers are using all the new tech that pops up. It's like this amazing inside look at how valuable those hands-on skills still are. It doesn't matter what you end up doing.
That's a really good point. It's like learning the language of actually making something in a world that's like completely obsessed with everything digital. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's get back to the workshop, so to speak.
hmm
What does an industrial arts vocational teacher, what do they actually do every day?
Yeah, so like on the surface, it seems pretty, straightforward,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're giving students those really important skills you need for like those hands-on jobs, carpentry, welding, machining, all that stuff. But it's honestly way more than just showing someone how to use a saw or a lathe.
Yeah, I bet it's like you're not just teaching the what, it's the how and the why behind it, all
You
right?
got it. You're coming up with lesson plans,
Yeah.
figuring out how to like actually see if a student is getting it. And not just by like a test, but by what they're making their projects. It's this really cool mix of teaching and being a mentor where you're shaping their skills, but also that like excitement to build something real.
And, our research from RoleCatcher mentions all this stuff too. Like these teachers, they have to monitor students' progress, assist individually when necessary, and evaluate their knowledge. And like all while keeping a room full of, let's just say, energetic learners under control with probably enough power tools to make Bob the Builder jealous.
Now you're getting it. It is not your typical desk job, let me tell you. And that's where all those other skills come in organization, thinking on your feet, knowing how to like inspire and guide a whole room of students. And they've all got their own way of learning, what they want to do.
Hmm.
It can be tough. Yeah. But when you see those moments when it clicks for a student and they get it, that's where the magic happens.
Okay, you've set the scene, the smell of sawdust, that clang of a hammer, maybe even a hint of metal in the air.
And don't forget the safety goggles.
Right, safety first, always.
Yeah.
But really, though, the energy in a place like that must be amazing.
Oh, it totally is. But here's something interesting from the research that you might not expect. Industrial arts, vocational teachers, they often have to work evenings or weekends, to fit everyone's schedules. It's more than your average 9 to 5 job. It takes real dedication to be there for those teaching moments whenever they happen.
Wow, going above and beyond for those teaching moments, that's dedication. It sounds like this career really speaks to people who love passing on their skills, but, every job has its downsides. What are some of the challenges you might hit in this line of work?
Oh yeah, for sure. No job's perfect.
Yeah.
And with industrial arts vocational teaching, one of the big things is money. Budget limits, not always having the resources you want.
Yeah.
Imagine you're trying to set up a whole workshop for these students, all the best tools and materials, but on a tight budget. That takes some real creativity.
Yeah, I bet. It's like they say necessity is the mother of invention, right? Have you got any examples of how teachers are getting creative to get around those problems?
Definitely. So some teachers are teaming up with local businesses, seeing if they'll donate some materials, maybe even some equipment. And then others are going online crowdfunding for projects or finding deals on supplies. It's really cool to see how much these teachers care, how much effort they put in to make sure their students have everything they need to learn.
That's really awesome. It shows how much they love what they do and how much they care about their students. But besides being resourceful, it seems like keeping up with technology is huge in this field, especially with how fast things are changing in so many industries with automation and everything.
You're totally right. An awesome industrial arts vocational teacher is always learning, looking for ways to improve and stay up to date, like knowing the latest welding techniques, understanding how to use computer-aided design software. All that's essential if you want to prepare students for what these jobs will actually be like.
So it's not just about knowing how to use the tools, it's also knowing how technology changes those tools and the skills people need to use them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that connects to those certifications we were talking about before. Like for welders, there's the AWS certification, which is recognized all over the world. And for a machinist, you've got NIMS credentials. Those are super important. They show employers that someone really knows what they're doing.
Hmm.
A good teacher doesn't just know about these certifications, but can help students give them a head start in their career.
It's like you said at the start, knowing about this career path. It's like a secret cheat code for figuring out what jobs will be like in the future.
Totally.
Yeah.
But before we get too excited about all the good stuff, let's talk about the thing we mentioned earlier about limited job prospects.
Oh, right. That was something you pointed out earlier. What's the deal with that? Is it just a matter of too many teachers and not enough jobs?
That's a great question, and it's worth looking into more. The job market for these teachers, it's different everywhere. Really depends on where you are and what you specialize in. Some places might have a ton of teachers, while other areas, schools are desperate to find them, especially for those really in-demand trades like welding or HVAC.
So location matters, but so does what you specialize in. Makes sense. It's not like one size fits all, right?
Exactly. And that's why doing your research is so important. If someone's really serious about this, they got to dig deeper, look at the job market where they live, figure out what skills are hot, and even talk to schools or people in the industry to get the local picture.
Sounds like networking is super important for this career right from the get-go.
You got it. And there's some really great organizations out there to help with that. The Association for Career and Technical Education, ACTE, they're amazing. They connect teachers with professional development opportunities, people in the industry, even job postings. It's a fantastic way to meet people and stay in the loop about what's happening in the field.
Okay, so we've talked about the challenges, the need to stay current, what the job market looks like. But for someone who's super passionate about this, what does a typical career path look like? What kind of things can they look forward to?
Yeah.
Like mapping out that journey from like
Yeah.
newbie to seasoned pro. What are those stepping stones?
Okay, so picture this. You start out as like an assistant teacher, right? Helping out a more experienced instructor, wrangling that workshop, getting those hands-on skills yourself while learning how everything works. Then as you get the hang of it, more confident, leading your own classes, creating your own curriculum, that's when things get really exciting.
So you're like making your mark, leaving your stamp on things, inspiring all those students. But what if someone's got, leadership goals? What other paths are there?
Now you're talking about some next level stuff. RoleCatcher, they had some super interesting examples. You could become a department head, right? The big cheese overseeing that whole industrial arts program, making sure it's all top notch, meeting all the standards and best practices.
Wow, so you're not just shaping those young minds, you're shaping the whole program. That's incredible. What about outside the classroom, though? Any opportunities there?
Oh yeah, definitely. Some teachers, they end up moving into industry roles like project management or technical training, and all that teaching experience, that's like gold in those positions. It shows you can communicate, solve problems, and that you really know your stuff.
It's just like this path, it's not a dead end. It can lead to all kinds of different things. That's about building all those skills and being super versatile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You become this adaptable, multi-talented pro, and that's valuable everywhere, really.
Uh-huh.
But let's get back to our listener. Let's say they're just starting out. What can they do, even while they're still studying, to really stand out in this field?
Yeah. Are there any like internships or volunteer gigs that could give them a head start?
Totally. Volunteering at those maker spaces or after-school programs, it's amazing experience. You're working with young people, sharing that passion for industrial arts, and some community colleges even have these apprenticeship programs where future teachers can work right alongside experienced instructors. It's like the best of both worlds.
That's a really good point. Combining real-world experience with the education part, that's smart.
It really is.
Yeah.
And don't forget about networking. Going to industry events, joining those professional groups like ACTE, those are all game changers. You can connect with mentors, find out about job openings, and just really immerse yourself in that world.
We've covered a ton today. The day-to-day stuff, the good and the bad, the need to stay updated, and all the awesome career paths out there. But before we wrap up, what's like that one big takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
For me, it's about appreciating how important those skilled trades are in our world. These teachers, they're not just teaching skills, they're shaping lives.
Yeah.
They're giving these students the knowledge, the confidence to solve problems and make a difference in a world that's constantly changing. It takes real passion and dedication, but the rewards, the impact you have on these kids, it's really something special.
I love that. It's about sparking that excitement for building real things on a world that's obsessed with the digital. And it's got me thinking, how has this whole deep dive changed how you see vocational teaching or even just education in general?
That's a great question to leave everyone with. It's easy to forget how important hands-on skills are these days, but the truth is they're more important than ever. And for anyone who loves working with their hands, solving practical problems, sharing what they know well, Industrial Arts Vocational Teaching might just be that perfect fit.
It sounds like it. And for anyone ready to jump in and explore this awesome career path, don't forget to check out RoleCatcher. They've got a treasure trove of resources, even a free version to get you started.
Absolutely. It's an amazing tool for anyone thinking about this career. Tons of insights and info to help you make the right decision.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive, and until next time, keep those minds curious and those workshops buzzing.